Hey there, fellow explorers of the unknown. Are you ready to embark on a journey into the heart of one of America's most mysterious regions? Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you never miss an eerie tale from haunted Appalachia. Welcome to our channel, where we delve into the creepy, the spine-chilling, and the downright bizarre. Today, we're setting our sights on a region steeped in folklore, mystery, and enough ghost stories to make your hair stand on end. The Appalachian Mountains are a place where the past and the supernatural intertwine. That's right, folks, we're talking about the Appalachian Mountains. These ancient peaks have witnessed centuries of history and have become a hotbed for eerie tales and ghostly encounters. From colonial settlements to coal mining booms, these mountains have seen it all. And along the way, they've collected a whole lot of spooky baggage that continues to haunt the region to this day. We're talking about ghost stories that'll make you sleep with the lights on, cryptids lurking in the shadows, and maybe even a witch or two. Imagine walking through a dark, shadowy forest and feeling the presence of something otherworldly, or stumbling upon an old, abandoned witch's cabin deep in the woods. Over the next few chapters, we're going to unpack 5 of the most chilling tales this region has to offer. We'll dive deep into the heart of these stories and explore the eerie details that make them so unforgettable. We'll be looking at first-hand accounts, creepy photos, and local legends that have been passed down for generations. These stories have been whispered around campfires and shared in hushed tones for years. So, buckle up, grab your flashlight, and maybe a comfort blanket because things are about to get spooky. Don't say, "I didn't warn you." The Appalachian Mountains are calling, and they have some chilling secrets to reveal. Get ready to be captivated by the mysteries of haunted Appalachia. Let's dive in and uncover the spine-tingling tales that await us. So, are you brave enough to join us on this journey? Let's find out together. Stay tuned and prepare yourself for an adventure into the unknown. Don't say I didn't warn you. Like and subscribe for more content. Stretching over 2,000 miles from Georgia to Maine, the Appalachian Trail is a hiker's paradise. This iconic trail offers a journey through some of the most beautiful and diverse landscapes in the United States. Lush forests, breathtaking vistas, and serene meadows, what's not to love? The trail is a haven for nature lovers and adventure seekers alike. Well, unless you're hiking after dark, that is. As the sun sets and darkness envelops the trail, the atmosphere changes dramatically. Because this trail may look like a peaceful escape during the day, but for those who walk it after dark, it can turn into a nightmare. The once inviting path becomes shrouded in mystery and fear. We're talking about strange noises echoing through the silent woods, shadowy figures that vanish when you turn your back, and an overwhelming feeling of being watched. The sense of unease is palpable. Hikers have reported seeing ghostly apparitions, feeling cold spots, and hearing disembodied voices whispering their names. These experiences are enough to send chills down anyone's spine. Some say these are the spirits of Native American tribes who once called these mountains home, while others believe they're the ghosts of hikers who met unfortunate ends along the trail. The legends and stories are as old as the trail itself. Whatever the truth may be, there's no denying that something eerie is happening on the Appalachian Trail. The unexplained phenomena continue to baffle and intrigue those who dare to explore after dark. And trust me, you don't want to be caught out there alone when the sun goes down. The trail transforms into a realm of shadows and whispers where the line between reality and the supernatural blurs. One particularly creepy story comes from a group of hikers who were making their way through a particularly isolated stretch of the trail.
As night fell, they started hearing what they described as faint whispers coming from the trees. At first, they dismissed it as the wind rustling the leaves, but as they continued on, the whispers grew louder, almost like someone was speaking directly into their ears. They said the voices spoke of death and darkness, sending chills down their spines. Terrified, the hikers quickened their pace, desperate to reach the nearest shelter before nightfall. But the voices seemed to follow them, growing louder with every step they took. They finally stumbled into the shelter breathless and terrified, and barricaded themselves inside for the rest of the night. They say the voices didn't stop until the sun began to rise. To this day, they can't explain what they heard that night, but they're certain it was something sinister.
And then there's the tale of the phantom hitchhiker, a story that's been told and retold by countless drivers traveling through the Appalachian Mountains. They say that on desolate stretches of highway, You might encounter a lone figure, often described as a young woman, standing by the side of the road, thumb outstretched. Drivers who stop to offer her a ride often notice a strange sadness in her eyes and a chill that seems to emanate from her very being. She'll give you directions to a nearby town, but as you drive, you'll notice that she's vanished from the passenger seat. Some say she's the ghost of a young woman who died in a car accident on that very stretch of road, while others believe she's a malevolent entity preying on unsuspecting travelers. Whatever the truth may be, the Phantom Hitchhiker of the Appalachian Mountains is one spooky ride you definitely don't want to pick up. All right, so we've covered some pretty unsettling ghost stories, but the Appalachian Mountains are also home to another type of paranormal mystery: cryptids. Lurking in the depths of the Appalachian woods are creatures beyond belief, some seen only in the last seconds before their victims vanish. We're talking about creatures that defy scientific explanation, creatures that have been sighted for centuries, yet remain shrouded in mystery. Bigfoot, the Mothman, the Lizard Man. These are just a few of the cryptids said to roam these ancient hills. Some dismiss these sightings as hoaxes or misidentifications, but others believe they're glimpses of something truly extraordinary, something that challenges our understanding of the natural world. Whatever you believe, there's no denying that the cryptids of the Appalachians are some of the most intriguing and terrifying creatures in American folklore. So let's dive into the murky waters of cryptozoology and explore some of the most chilling encounters with these elusive beings. One of the most well-documented cryptids in the Appalachian region is the Beast of Bray Road, a creature sighted numerous times in Elkhorn, Wisconsin in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Witnesses described it as a large, hairy creature standing around 7 feet tall, with piercing yellow eyes and a powerful, musky odor. Some described it as resembling a bear, while others swore it was more wolf-like in appearance. Either way, it sounds terrifying.
One chilling account tells of a woman driving down Bray Road late one night when she spotted a large, dark figure standing in the middle of the road. Terrified, she slammed on the brakes, and the creature let out a blood-curdling howl before disappearing into the darkness. Other witnesses reported seeing the creature lurking in the woods, its eyes glowing menacingly in the dark.
And then there's the Lizard Man of Scape or Swamp, a creature that sounds like it crawled straight out of a horror movie. This reptilian humanoid is said to inhabit the swamps of Lee County, South Carolina, and has been terrorizing locals since the late 1980s.
Witnesses describe it as being around 7 feet tall, with green, scaly skin, glowing red eyes, and 3-fingered hands. In 1988, a young man named Christopher Davis reported encountering the creature while changing a tire on his car near Scape or Swamp. He claimed the creature jumped on his car, and he barely managed to escape by speeding away, the creature's claws leaving deep scratches on his car.
Whether the Lizard Man is a real cryptid or just a figment of our collective imagination, one thing's for sure: it's one swamp monster you definitely don't want to run into in the dark. Okay, so Appalachia. Beautiful mountains, dense forests, and more ghost stories than you can shake a spirit box at. But this time, we're not talking about your average run-of-the-mill specters. We're diving headfirst into the world of Appalachian witchcraft.
See, these woods have a history, man. A history steeped in folklore, superstition, and whispers of women who knew how to harness the power of the earth. Or maybe something else entirely. I'm talking about the kind of stuff that makes you want to sleep with the lights on, even if you're camping in a tent.
In the hidden hollows of Appalachia, witches may still linger, leaving traces of dark magic that no one dares to disturb. Sounds like a load of spooky campfire stories, right?
Well, maybe. But the locals will tell you that some things are best left undisturbed. They'll tell you about strange encounters, unexplained occurrences, and a feeling that something ancient and powerful still watches from the shadows.
Now, I'm not saying I believe in all this hocus pocus. I'm a man of logic, of evidence. I rely on facts, on things that can be proven and measured, but there's something about these stories, the way they're passed down through generations, that makes you wonder. They have a certain weight, a certain power that can't be easily dismissed. Like, did these witches really exist? Were they real people who practiced dark arts, or were they just misunderstood individuals? Or are they just manifestations of the fear and uncertainty that comes with living in such an isolated, unforgiving environment? An environment where the unknown looms large and the nights are long and dark.
I mean, think about it. You're living in a time before modern medicine, before electricity, surrounded by dense woods that could swallow you whole. Every shadow, every rustle in the leaves could be a threat. It's no wonder people started looking for explanations, for someone to blame when things went wrong. When the crops failed or a loved one fell ill, they needed a scapegoat. And who better to blame than the mysterious woman living alone in the woods, collecting herbs and muttering to herself? She was different, and different was dangerous.
But here's the thing, it wasn't just fear and superstition. It was a complex mix of social, economic, and psychological factors. There were actual accusations, trials, even executions. These were real events that had devastating consequences for those involved. People were genuinely terrified of these so-called witches, convinced they possessed some kind of dark power that could ruin crops, bring illness, even curse entire families. The fear was palpable, and it shaped the lives of countless individuals.
The thing is, even today, you hear stories. People claiming to see strange lights in the woods or finding weird symbols carved into trees. Some even say they've encountered women who seem to know things they shouldn't, who have a way of looking at you that makes you feel like you're being seen right through. Coincidence? Maybe, but maybe not.
Look, I'm not saying you should be scared to hike in the Appalachian Mountains, but maybe, just maybe, be respectful. Don't mess with things you don't understand. And if you see an old woman with a cauldron in her backyard, maybe just keep walking. You know, for the sake of your immortal soul and all that. Because whether it's the power of suggestion, some residual energy, or actual honest-to-goodness witchcraft, there's something unsettling about the idea that magic might still linger in these ancient hills. And frankly, that's way more interesting than any dusty old ghost story. Alright, so we've talked about creepy trails, weird creatures, and witches, which is like the trifecta of spooky, right? But buckle up, because we're going underground now, into the heart of Appalachia, the coal mines. These mines are like the veins of these mountains, pumping out coal for decades. And let me tell you, they've seen some things down there. I'm talking cave-ins, explosions, you name it. It's the kind of place where a ghost story feels less like a story and more like a Tuesday.
People say the miners who died down there never really left. They're still down there, digging in the dark, their pickaxes echoing through the tunnels. And if you listen closely, you might just hear them whispering your name.
Now let's talk about Pikeville, Kentucky, home to a real charmer called the Screaming Tunnel. It's an old railway tunnel, but it's got a reputation that's way more screamo than steam engine. The story goes that a woman was brutally murdered in the tunnel, and now her screams can be heard echoing through the darkness. Some say if you stand in the middle of the tunnel at night and light a match, you'll see her ghost. Personally, I'm not about to test that theory. I'm all for ghost hunting, but lighting a match in a potentially methane-filled tunnel seems like a bad idea. Plus, I don't want to be rude. If she's screaming, it's probably because she wants to be left alone, you know? And then there's the story of the Phantom Miner of Pennsylvania. This one's a classic.
Imagine this, you're down in the mine, just doing your job, when you see a figure in the distance. He's wearing old-fashioned mining gear covered in coal dust, and he's just watching you. Then, poof, gone.
Some say he's a benevolent spirit looking out for the miners.
Others say he's a harbinger of doom, appearing just before an accident. Either way, it's not the kind of guy you want to run into on your lunch break, you know what I mean?
Okay, folks, get ready for this one because it's a doozy. We're talking about the Bell Witch, one of the most infamous hauntings in American history. This isn't just some spooky Appalachian legend. This thing terrorized a family for years.
It all started in Adams, Tennessee back in the early 1800s. The Bell family started experiencing some seriously weird stuff. We're talking strange noises, objects moving on their own, the whole 9 yards.
But then things took a turn for the worse. The entity, which they called Kate, developed this weird obsession with the family patriarch, John Bell. She would whisper threats, pull his hair, even physically assault him.
I told you this ghost was not messing around. Now, where this gets really interesting is the whole witch aspect. See, local legend has it that John Bell crossed a witch named Kate Batts, and she cursed him on her deathbed, hence the whole Bell Witch thing.
Whether you believe in the curse or not, there's no denying that something messed up was happening at that farm. The story became so well known that even Andrew Jackson, the president, had to check it out for himself, and apparently he left pretty spooked. I mean, if it's good enough to freak out a president, it's definitely good enough to freak me out.
Now, here's the kicker. Some say the Bell Witch never really left. There have been reported sightings and strange occurrences in the area ever since. People claim to have heard her voice, seen her shadowy figure, and even felt her icy touch.
And look, I'm not saying I believe it, but I'm also not saying I don't believe it. Some things are just best left unexplained, But hey, if you're ever in Adams, Tennessee, and you happen to hear a disembodied voice calling your name, maybe don't answer it. Just a thought. Well, there you have it, folks. A whirlwind tour of some of the most haunted and mysterious spots in Appalachia. From the ghostly miners to the terrifying Bell Witch, these mountains are teeming with stories that'll make your skin crawl. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these eerie tales, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more spine-chilling content. Let us know in the comments which story creeped you out the most.